welcome back to another week, everybody. I'm Jay from Investonomics, and this week we're going to be continuing with our discussion on option Greeks. And this week we're going to be talking about Vega and Rho, the last two Greeks. And then we'll be moving on to some more complex topics and more interesting topics regarding some strategies and ways that you can use options next week. So hope you enjoy this one, and I'll see you all next time. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're continuing our discussion on the option Greeks, and today we're talking about the last two, the first order ones called Vega and Rho. So as I mentioned, we're going to continue this discussion that we've had the past couple of weeks, with the exception of last week when we talked about the market crash. These are the last two of interest that we haven't covered, and they're Vega and Rho. So we'll start today with talking about Vega first. So Vega is the Greek, measuring the sensitivity of an option's value to changes in implied volatility. And we'll talk about what this means. Vega is not exactly a Greek letter, which is interesting, but it's actually derived from the Greek letter nu, which is a V in the Greek alphabet. And the goal is to have this V to stand for volatility, and Vega actually works well with delta and other Greeks that sound like it. So how is it quoted? Vega is the amount by which an options contract changes in value for a 1% increase or decrease in implied volatility of the underlying. And this 1% is 1 percentage point, which is different than 1%. Generally speaking, as the volatility of the underlying equity increases, meaning it has more rapid fluctuations in price, the value of an option, be it call or put, will increase. So volatility increases by construction, and this will make any option more likely to expire in the money, which increases the option's value. And this makes logical sense. So when there's more wild fluctuations, there's a higher chance that you could be profitable. Volatility only affects an option's extrinsic value, and we talked about this before. So it's the part that includes the time value as well. Vega is often very important in turbulent markets, such as with COVID, as we've seen. It's very volatile, since this increases the value of long-held options, and as well as volatile stocks like Tesla, which are favored for this type of reason, and is why Vega is important. An option strategy that we'll cover in the future is an at-the-money straddle. Now this strategy is of importance here because it relies on high volatility in order for the positions to become profitable. The direction of the volatility is irrelevant for this position. It just needs to have large swings to be in the money, so it can be downward or upward. And Vega needs to be very large for these types of plays, especially if the straddle is in the money, since these are fairly expensive options. So now we'll take a look at the last one, which is Rho. Now Rho is the least used of all of the Greek letters, but it's important to know its role in option pricing, and just to know what it means. So essentially, it seeks to measure an option's change in value when the risk-free interest rate changes. It's more useful in pricing theories, and it's used often in models such as the Black-Scholes-Merton model and other pricing models in order to get an accurate reading and accurate pricing by using this interest rate. Now, an option's value is not as sensitive to changes in interest rates, which is also why it's used less. So an option's value actually changes less on a percentage basis than it would for any other Greek letter. It is measured empirically as the change in an option's value for a 1 percentage point change in the risk-free interest rate. And we can see this as the market prevailing interest rate or a rate on bonds. An important consideration for Rho is its relevance for short-dated options. Since it's unlikely that interest rates are to change in the short term, this makes it less relevant for short-term options. Longer-term options on the other hand, such as leaps, which we'll do a future video on, are subject to Rho and introduces a cost of carry, or an additional cost that's introduced by Rho. So I'll see you all next week.